Okay, here we are in sunny London.
Sunny Mitcham.
It's a good summer's day here in sunny Mitcham. I'm here with Dave Bucket Colwell. He's got a new solo album coming out.
Certainly have.
Bucket's Rebel Heart. Yeah.
Bucket's Rebel Heart, yeah. Which is, it's actually a partnership.
You've got it right in front of you there.
There we go. It will be for sale in our shop this weekend online. Yeah, it's a partnership between me and Paul Edwards Taff, who's the drummer in 720 with me before the war. And, this is the album we should have made 35 years ago.
I'll say it's a fantastic album. You mentioned you should have made it 35 years ago because it has got that sort of 70s sort of feel to it. But obviously a modern edge, modern production.
Yeah, I mean, times have changed. Obviously the records now sound a bit different, and but it's still based on the same sort of music we, started playing when we were young, and obviously, I've been in Bad Company and Humble Pie, and, I love Free and Mott the Hoople, and Taff and I are both big Springsteen fans, and Georgia Satellites and all that, so it's just a melting pot of our influences,
Exactly, because you say you've got a history of all those sort of bands, or musicians from those bands are on this album, and that's the feel it's got. If you're a fan of those bands, there's no reason why you're not going to like this album.
Cool, well, I hope so.
And let's talk about the album title, 20 Good Summers. We've got one good one at the moment, but where's the other 19 come from?
Well, a gentleman of a certain age, Paul came up with it. We reckon that's what we got left if we behave ourselves. So, no, it's we've both done a lot in our lives, musically and otherwise, travelled and all that, and it's just, it's supposed to be looking forward to the next 20 years and love and life and everything.
Good. Positive, that's what we want to hear.
Exactly.
And let's talk about the band that you assembled for this album. And let's start with the singer, Jim Stapley.
Jim is...
Could be a new name for many people, but what a singer.
Yeah, he's absolutely wonderful. Drinks his own bathwater, but, hey, you can't have everything, He actually was in the Jones gang with me, with Kenny Jones and Rick Wills for, 5 or 6 years. We did a lot of corporate work and that, and he's such a musician, great guitar player, piano player, singer, and he's such a positive vibe to be around. I think the main reason Taff and I chose him is, us being the lyricists, it's very difficult to get someone who can sell the song like they wrote it, and audiences are very fickle, if they don't buy it, then that's end of, really. And Jim interprets, the songs in his own way. I mean, neither Taff or me are lead singers, but, it's like he's written it. It comes from the heart.
And he's got that classic British soulful voice,
Oh, yeah. He's got such a range, and, he's a great front man, and, we've always really hit it off on the road and everything, so...
And tell us more about Tom Swan. He plays on bass on the album.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, Jim and all those guys, they played on Molly Marriott's album. Tom did that, and that's where I sort of heard him playing on Molly's record, and just a great bass player with that great fat bottom end sound, but again, it doesn't just sit on the eights, he's a melodic player like Boz, and Greg Ridley were,
And it's great, you've got a whole host of stars on this album. You just mentioned Molly Marriott's band, but you stole the singer from that band, and she appears in a couple of songs.
Yeah, she does. Molly's lovely, and I rang her up because she's got her own career going big time now. And she again used to sing with the Jones gang, and I said, look, would you like, a bit cheeky, would you like to do some BVs? She said, oh, I'm so glad you asked. No one asked me to do BVs anymore, and I so love doing it, So, and also Sam Tanner played keyboard in Molly's band as well. He plays piano. He's the nearest thing to Ray Charles I've heard over here from,
So there's two of the sort of the best songs on the album, Rebel Heart, the title track, and the bridge that Molly appears on.
Yeah, I think, we wanted, again, we didn't want it to sound like, a lot of the rock bands that are out there now are nothing what we're to do with. I mean, we love American music. I've spent a lot of time in America touring and stuff like that, and, that sort of sound, and having a girl sing a you know, takes it away from, you know, your average rock band that's out there at the moment. You know.
And one special guest that's really surprised me is Rick Richards.
Yeah,
Well, I mean from the Georgia Satellites, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've mentioned before, Taff and I, you know, love Springsteen, and we love Georgia Satellites, and we thought if we can have a mixture of the both with a bit of AC/DC thrown in, that's the way we want to go. And Michael Fassberg had actually toured with Rick, and he approached him, and he was happy to do it. He loved it, you know.
The song in question is Radio State of Mind. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Paul was travelling across America with his wife. They they're following Blackberry Smoke around America, you know, and you know, American rock radio and everything. I guess that's just where the idea came from, and all the different states, and you know, tying in what's famous from what state and what town.
And where's the American radio state radio these days? Because I remember years ago being in Florida, and you hear classic rock on the radio non-stop. Is that still pretty much the case? Or?
It's a bit more specialised now. Like rock music is everywhere. You know, it's not mainstream anymore. But like England, you know, if you want to hear it, you can. You go to Planet Rock and these other stations, they will play it. There's a lot of talk radio in America, like there is here.
One track I do like on the album, Whiskey Land, is a bit of an all-out rocker, you know.
It is, yeah. I wrote that with Ross McEwen, who was playing with me in Bucket and Co at the time.
It's quite aptly Scottishman singing about whiskey.
Yeah.
Or playing about whiskey.
We had great fun writing it, and we'd been on tour in Scotland actually, and we just at the end of the tour we just got in the studio and recorded it. You know, I just love the song. Yeah, it's a proper groovy rock, bit of ZZ Top. You know.
I say there's so many good songs on the album, but there's one song where there's a female lead vocal, and she sings like backing vocals on a few other songs. But the song in question's Customised Car, Lila De Souza. That's a new name to me.
Yeah, she's great, Lila. She's I've worked with her a lot in the past as well. I mean, she's like, I'm no giant, but she's like Lulu, you know, a real powerhouse, and great fun to be around. I just wanted to really, that song we used to do years and years ago in a band called the New Torpedoes, and we had a girl singer. And, you know, the girl is a girl-based lyric sort of thing, so I gave Lila a call, and she's like, "Yep, I'll be down." I
was like, this is your first solo album since Beers, Guitars and Tears.
Guitars, Beers and Tears.
Yep. Well, it varies when you've had a few.
Yeah, I mean, that was 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, that album, I think 10 guest lead singers on it, and, you know, again, I had great fun doing it. They were all friends of mine, Adrian Smith and Danny Bowes, Spike, and all the rest of it, but radio and promoters just couldn't get their head around the concept, really. It's like, you know, is Adrian going to be on the road with you? No, he's in Rio playing to 19 million people, you know. So that's why we decided to put more of a band and keep the same band through this new project, you know, with the same lead singer, except for Lila, obviously.
Also, you played one concert with this new band.
Yeah, we did our debut show at Sweden Rock about 3 weeks ago now, which was fantastic.
And there's footage on YouTube, like professional shot footage of the title track, 20 Good Summers.
There are, and we're
marvellous clip.
I mean, now, you know, our shop's opening this week to buy the album, and we're going to be releasing a video, one song per month.
Oh wow!
As we go along, you know, it's difficult with a six-piece band. The singer lives in America, you know, drummer lives in Gozo, that's near Malta, and to get us all together to play pub gigs, he just couldn't afford it. So we're going to cherry pick festivals and that where there's a captive audience. So we thought the way to get it going is just, you know, use the modern way, YouTube. You know, we've got, if you go to YouTube, it's Buckets Rebel Heart on YouTube, and we'll have an EPK on there as well.
And also, you're going to be a busy man yourself soon. You're out on the road of Humble Pie, a band that you performed with before, actually.
Yeah, I was in Humble Pie with Jerry and Greg back in 2000, and we did an album called Back on Track. And I still talk to Jerry all the time and everything, and We come up with this idea about keeping Humble Pie's music alive by having a touring band out in America. Jerry won't be playing all the shows because he's physically not into it now, and all the rest of it. But he'll be popping out for a couple of shows.
Oh, excellent.
And, got a fantastic singer, Jimmy Coons, with a band called Cactus.
Great character.
Oh, he certainly is. A chirpy little chap, quite like Steve actually, but he's a great singer. I mean, we're not trying to sort of, emulate the Rockin' the Fillmore album. I mean, that era of Humble Pie, when they were arguably the biggest rock and roll band in the world, but it was conducted by Steve on stage. I mean, the other guys were fantastic, but he ran the show. And you're not going to replace Steve Marriott. So, we're going to do, an evening of Humble Pie music with a kick-ass rock and roll band. A lot of Humble Pie fans never saw the original band because it was a long time ago.
Did you see the original Humble Pie?
I did, yeah. I saw them about 8 times.
Wow.
I mean, it was seeing them in Hyde Park with Grand Funk that sort of sealed my fate. Right, that's what I want to do, So who knew I'd be in the band years later? Same with Bad Company. I used to go and see, Mick Ralph's in Mock the Hoop, or sort of first Bad Company shows. So it's been very.
So you've had quite a colourful life. Who's taught you the most?
Actually, going back, Paul Sampson. When I first met Paul Sampson, he was in a band called Kelly, and we supported them. We hit it off, and Paul said, come and play a couple of songs with us. And I was classically trained, so I was, kind of a bit stiff, shall we say, and he just turned around and went like that, put everything on 10 on the Marshall, kicked me up the arse, and said, if you're doing a solo, get out the front, So I did learn a lot with Paul.
I was like, would you consider, when you joined Bad Company, would you consider that the big break?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, I joined Mick Ralph's solo band when Bad Company split up. He put a band together and they sought me out. A guy came up to me, he was actually Mick's roadie, and said, "Are you the guy that likes Mick Ralph?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Would you like to come and audition for his band tomorrow?" Which I did. I mean, Mick didn't even show up. It was Chris Slade on drums and Pino Palladino on bass.
Well, established musicians,
yeah. So, I was a tad nervous, but I got that gig and I was with Mick's band for a year, and then they put Bad Company back together, and same thing. Mick, wasn't really that into doing long tours at the time, so he just called me up and said, "You go in my place,"
What was that like, stepping into his shoes?
I mean, I played in the style of Mick and Kossoff anyway.
I was like, you first stepped into his shoes, but then you played alongside him later on as well.
Yeah. No, it just came natural to me, really. I mean, to this day, that's the style I play in. I mean, some reviews of this album have said, it's not unlike what they've in
exactly, it could be one of those lineups of Bad Company, it could be another Bad Company album.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely
we're not
right.
trying to copy it or anything, but it's just naturally the way I play. I tend to like music with a bit of gaps in it rather than.
I was like, you've been various lineups of Bad Company, with Brian House singing, Bob Hart singing, even with Paul Rogers singing out on tour with him.
Yeah.
So, have you got any favourite eras of the time you was with the band?
Well, I mean, all three singers are as good as each other, in my opinion. They're all different to each other and got their different ways, but all great world-class singers and and songwriters, and just working with people of that calibre, which I've been lucky to do for the last 30 odd years. Really, I was with Adrian Smith with ASAP, it didn't get any better than that either. Zach Starkey on drums, and so I've always been lucky enough to work at that level, so.
Well, what did it teach you in terms of professionalism, working at Bad Company? So you went from the clubs to the arenas, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, my first shows with Bad Company were arenas. I mean, I was playing the Mug and Handbag in Hammersmith one night, and next night 60,000 people. That was on the Holy Water tour, which lasted nearly 2 years long. It's a double, triple platinum record. So I've just always played guitar, Mark. I started when I was about 6, so it's just a natural thing for me. People say, do you get nervous before you go on? I wouldn't say nervous. You get the excitement and the buzz, you know, and I hope I always will get that. But I don't really get nervous, you know, unless there's something out of my control, you know.
Let's talk about Agent Smith and Agent Smith project, ASAP. So I think, Agent Smith had project, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of Iron Maiden fans, especially the new generation, won't know too much about that band. So tell us more about them and how it happened.
I mean, I'd known Adrian for years before when he was in Urchin and I was in Angel Street, I think, and we all used to play the Brecknock and all the pub scene in London. We always got on great, and there was another guitar player, Andy Barnett, was in Urchin, and the three of us, we put a band together called The Entire Population of Hackney for a bit of fun, and did 2 gigs. We did the Marquee and the Red Lion in Gravesend, and we rehearsed quite a lot for those gigs, so in that time we just started writing songs, and down the line Iron Maiden did a song of each of us as B-sides.
Reach Out, yeah.
Reach Out was a B-side of, I think...
Wasted Years.
That's it, Wasted Years.
Does that pay your mortgage off?
It paid my publishing off, that's for sure. And also, when I was in Samson, we went on tour on the Somewhere in Time tour as well, opening for them. So, I mean, when I did Guitars, Beers and Tears, I wrote a new song with Adrian, which he sang, and we redid Reach Out as well, slightly different version. But Maiden's fans are pretty stoic, should we say. I mean, they know pretty much everything about every one of them and what they've done, you know.
Actually, you mentioned the Somewhere in Time tour, and there's one gig that I was fortunate to go to. There was a matinee show. It was Paul Sampson's Empire and Bad News.
That's right.
But mate, and obviously Bad News. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was Jimmy Page and
Brian May.
Brian May, yes, that day.
Yeah.
So what's your memories of that day?
One each.
Better than mine by the sound of it.
No, they were great shows. They were. I mean, Bad News were hilarious. I've got to say, especially when the lighting rig came down and didn't stop coming down, and they're all on their knees on the floor. I mean, it was probably a bit close to home actually, especially for Iron Maiden. But no, it was great fun. That was a great tour. We had a really good tour.
Obviously, like Bad News, you know, I think around just a little bit before Spinal Tap, but Spinal Tap, one of the famous ones in America.
Yeah.
You know, rare ones was Bad News for the British. You must have had many Spinal Tap Bad News moments in your career, you know.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean,
you know, what's the funniest ones? You know, which ones do you normally tell at dinner parties?
Well, I do love the story. I'm sure Simon won't mind. It wasn't his fault, but we're doing a Bad Company show, and Simon's kick drum, the actual beater come unscrewed and everything, and he had his drum tech, Steve Croxford, come steaming on like during the song, and he's down there beavering away, you know, trying to get it back in, and he finally did it. However, he got his lanyard with his pass wrapped round the drum stool, so when he was pulling away, it was just tightening up. He was going blue, and Simon didn't know, so he's just whacking him on the head with his stick like, "It's done, get off the stage." And he's like,
You ever had any moments where you can't find the stage?
Yes. It's Hello Cleveland moments. Yeah, we did one of those hard rock places. I can't remember where it was, and they put us in a golf cart to get to the stage. You went completely in the wrong direction. 20 minutes later, you know, I'm sure it's down here somewhere.
Yeah. Who's been like I say, you've been in Bad Company or ASAP, but who have you enjoyed touring with the most? Was it Iron Maiden or?
It's at different times of your life, Mark, really. I mean, people say to me, you know, what's the best place you've ever been? And, you know, not necessarily in music. And it's, to me, I always say it all depends on who you're with. You know, I mean, it's the same with touring with a band. If there's, you know, if there's uncomfortableness between the people, then it's not much fun. I mean, we had an absolute hoot in Bad Company with Robert Hart, Simon, myself, Rick and Mick on tour. That was a real good time.
Is that more important than, say, the financial side, like comradeship?
Yeah, I mean, you do get in a bit of a pickle with managers sometimes, you know, if you're dealing with bands that have got a principal and those that aren't the principal, you know. So you have to get that side of the business taken care of as well. You know, it's all well and good going around the world having fun, but you've got to pay the rent.
Yeah. Of course. Well, so you are a man in demand, you know, your name sort of crops up everywhere. You know, has there been any artists out there who've asked you to join them and you've had to turn them down?
Not really. Through timing, sometimes. I mean, you know, when Stevie Ray Vaughan passed away, bless him, I was on the way back from a Bad Company tour, got to Heathrow, and there was a message waiting for me to call this number straight back. And Chris and Tommy wanted to do a tour straight away. And they had another guitar player, a friend of mine, Chris Anderson from the Outlaws, and they wanted me to do that. So I had to pick up a plane ticket, go to Smith's, buy the greatest hits, and get straight on the plane and go back. So yeah, I mean, I do sort of grab the opportunities when they're. You know, I like to keep busy.
Who would you most like to play with in the world? What would it be your dream gig?
Well, I'm really looking forward to doing Humble Pie again, I've got to say. I just love the music. You know, in the Jones Gang we had Ronnie Wood play with us, Pete Townsend, we headlined the Albert Hall and stuff like that. So I've played with like loads of people anyway, really. Yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, I love Springsteen, but you know, that's not going to happen, I don't think. Unless the Sopranos kill the other fella off.
Well, since you a push at the weekend, get down and hang around by the back door, the job's yours. Going back to your album, we mentioned the track Radio State of Mind, and Michael Fassberg.
Yeah, bless him.
Played guitar, bless him, yeah, he's sadly no longer with us. And
no,
what's your memories of Michael?
Absolutely devastated. We were a really close friend of mine, and you know, very involved. We just toured Scandinavia and did 5 nights at a club in Tenerife. Just a great guy to be around, inspirational, great player, a good band guy, you know, he brings you all together, and a really, really genuine fella. And unfortunately he got a bit poorly and, you know, went in and got diagnosed, and like that, cancer had got him. He was going to be, obviously, the guitar player at Sweden Rock. He booked it with his friends who owned the festival. Just devastating, but he would have wanted us to go on and do it as his family did, you know. And we've dedicated this album to him, actually, and we all miss him terribly. Yeah,
very much so. Is it times like that it make you feel like you think about your own immortality, you know, or mortality?
Yeah, I think you do.
You've got to sort of appreciate life, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. And it's such a, what's the word, indiscriminate disease that you can just take anyone at any age just like that, you know. And you do have thoughts, it's like, you know, why him? How have I been so lucky? Touch wood, you know.
Yeah.
But no, lots of friends. You know, Paul Sampson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dreadful, really. But you know, you've got to go on.
Exactly, enjoy life. And one way to enjoy life is listen to the album 20 Good Summers.
Yep.
Like to hold it up again.
There it is.
Remind everybody again how we can get our hands on this beautiful piece of work.
Okay, we'll have our internet shop open this weekend. It's on Spotify, it's on Amazon, and all the other people don't pay you much, so buy it from us.
Even the parrot loves the album. So.
Yeah, that's Harvey the parrot. It was funny actually. Jimmy Coons was round staying for about 8 days. We were working out some songs and that, and the parrot was singing the lead line to Rebel Heart, and he like totally took him. You know, he couldn't believe it. That bird's got to come on the road with us.
It's the only bird that is allowed on the road. It's been wonderful talking to you. The album 20 Good Summers is well, be out very soon actually.
Yep.
It's out on digital at the moment. So
it is, yeah.
And I've played the album today. It's not a dud track on the album. It's 12 cracking classic songs on there.
Thank you very much.
All the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.